So when I was picking a baby name, I didn't want to know what was popular now. I wanted to know what was about to get popular, because you can find some really amazing gems that are rare but rising lower down the charts. I've done all the hard work for you, and I've found 23 girl names that are on the rise in 2023. So you're going to be obsessed. Get your pen and paper ready and hit subscribe if you're not already subscribed for all things baby names from my channel. My name's SJ, I'm a mum of 3 who absolutely loves names, and every single Monday here on YouTube I do new name lists for inspiration. I'd love to have you here whether or not you're naming a baby or you're just like a name nerd and absolutely love coming up with names. All the stats, all the meanings, everything is here, so do join along. And if you've been here for a while and wonder where I am and if you recognise this wallpaper, I'm at my mum and dad's and they took some of the leftover wallpaper I used to have for Evelina's nursery. Do you recognise it? It's such a throwback from my old YouTube videos. So number 23 is the name Aubry. Have you heard this name? It is trending for lots and lots of reasons, but because it's a gender neutral name as well, it hits so many trends. And with Amelia and Olivia being our top names, it's got the same sort of a vibe, but it's much more rare. So it's up for both genders at the moment. It's at 214 for girls and 569 for boys. So are you into gender neutral names? A lot of people are really looking for them. It's actually classically a boy name, but more recently, particularly in America, it's been used and been quite well known for girls. But over here, it hasn't really come up, but it's really, really trending through the charts quickly. It's got a really cool meaning. It means elf power. Power to the elves. So I reckon there's loads of reasons why you might love the name Aubry. The next name went up 316 spots last year and it's gorgeous. It is the name Flora. So Flora is like a pan-botanical name, as they call them, because it means all flowers, like blossom. We love these types of names, and with rose, ivy, willow, lots of plant names being in the top 10 is a really good place to follow a trend but find something more unique, and this one is really booming through the charts. We used to have the brand Flora and that maybe made it less popular for a while, but really doesn't put me off. Flora was known as the goddess of flowers. I couldn't be in a better room for it. I also found another name which is Floralia, which is actually the festival for the goddess of flowers, Floralia. So that's really nice. It's more complicated, it's more maximalist. You can watch my maximalist trend names a little while ago, but I wanted to chuck it in there because if Flora does feel like the brand name to you, Floralia, it's really a little gem as well. So this name in 2010 was pretty unranked. It was right down the bottom of the charts at 4,012, and now it is already at 252. So I see this one rising really quick, and it's the name Dottie. So these nicknames as first names, Lottie is so popular. It is little Lottie Loveday's birthday tomorrow, my niece. Happy birthday, Lottie Loveday. But I really love Dottie and I think it is so gorgeous. I think it really hits the playful trend, the 2-syllable name trend, the vintage nickname as first name trend. So it's not going to go anywhere soon. I think it will be right up there over the next few years. But when you're looking outside of the top 100, this is really outside the top 200. So you're not going to hear too many Dotties. It just shows you that it's really popular and a lot of parents love it when you see it rising through the charts like that. Noah, for a girl, is rising so much. It went up 454 places. It's at 254 in the chart. We know that Noah is now the #1 boy name, so it's gorgeous for a girl as well, normally without the H at the end, but you can't go wrong with it. It is so elegant and hits so many trends. The name Riva went up 52 places just last year. Riva is a Sanskrit name, so really on trend, and it means shore or riverbank, as in S-H-O-R-E. So Riva is spelled R-E-E-V-A, and we know the name river is really popular, but some people don't like word names, so I can see how Riva is really appealing to people. And with Eva being so around for ages, Ava, Riva feels like a really more unique bounce one to go to. Since about 2018, this has just been trending so fast, so I would get in there quick if you like the name Riva. The name Ray, spelt R-A-E, is up for both boys and girls, which is funny because if you think about Ray, R-A-Y, it was such a sort of vintage boy name, wasn't it? Like Ray, an old man name, whereas now it's coming back with the E ending, and it's got some really lovely meanings because you think of it as a ray of sunshine, which I think is why it gets a lot of popularity, but it's actually an old English word for a deer, which is always gorgeous to have those deer symbols around your nursery. Molly May Bambi vibes maybe, but with Ray. I think it also works as a middle spot because it's 1 syllable. or if you are going to double barrel, it works really nicely instead of May to switch up to Ray and be a bit more modern and a bit more special. The next name also went up a massive 305 places last year, and it is the name Nell. So another vintage nickname as first name. It's sort of short for Helena a lot. Nell or Eleanor can be a Nell. So if you want to pick a long name with a really, really beautiful short nickname, then Nell works so well. But I love it by itself. I know a little Nell and it's so gorgeous. It's a Charles Dickens character as well from the old Curiosity Shop. Tim Burton used this for his daughter, so it's got loads going for it, and just think it is really a beautiful one that's much lower down the charts. Just outside the top 300 at 309 is the name Honey. Now this name used to be quite a wild card for a lot of people, but it's actually getting more mainstream, and it's sort of a sweetheart name, so really, really lovely for Valentine's Day. I have done a whole Valentine's Day list actually in previous years, so I'll link it below if you want to go and have a look at those names that all mean love. And Honey is such a gorgeous one. It's very warming, it's very natural. I think it's just getting more use because it's becoming much more mainstream. I actually looked on a website called behindthename.com, and there were lots of people on there who were called the name, and they say if they get teased for it or what comes up, and they all really liked their name and said they liked having that sort of double take of the name. So they do get called Honey Bunny a little bit, or get asked, do you even like honey? Is that why you were called Honey? So it's one that you will have a conversation starter about maybe. But if Honey's always been a bit of a secret crush and you're like, oh, could I use it? It is going up the chart. The next name is the highest it's ever been, and it's the name Verity. I love it. I love modern virtue names. It's one of my favourite types of names. Verity means truthful, and I think this name is going to continue going up because it's so gorgeous. It's such a good bounce off Olivia. But as I said, it's at 339, and it's the highest it's ever ranked. It's just been going up and up and up. So there's more people being born Verity than ever before. So I looked at characteristics associated with the name Verity, and it came up as classic, formal and upper class, which just quite surprised me because I don't see it like that, do you? But it then also came across as people were saying it was natural, wholesome, and kind of quite serious. So it's an interesting one, I guess, because it's got a bit more gravity to it. It's not a sort of a playful, cheeky, chappy name like a Dottie. Verity seems a little bit more serious, maybe a little bit more humble maybe, but I love it. I think it's so beautiful. And the name Marley is shooting up lower down the chart. So I know Joe Wicks chose this for his little boy, but I didn't realise how popular it was getting. It kind of has those sort of vibes of Bob Marley, or some people even more associate it with Jacob Marley from Charles Dickens, but it has gone up, is it number 142 for boys and 348 for girls, and it's a beautiful name, really, really soft, really wearable. It's actually an old surname, and it would have been a place name that meant from the boundary wood, so from the edge of the woods. So really on trend, really usable. What do you think of it? The name Fia is going up the charts. It's an Irish one, so it's really hard to spell, but their names are enduringly beautiful and enduringly popular. And I think where Mia's been really popular, Fia is coming up as well. There were actually only 3 babies named Fia in 2013, but it's already now at number 355 in the chart. So it is zooming up lower down. I think we're just losing our fear of unusual spellings a little bit, and it's just gaining more popularity. And it actually means wild or wild animal, which I absolutely love. The name Lena, L-I-N-A, the end of my daughter's name, but just by itself, it went up 100 spots in the last 2 years as a standalone name. So now it's at number 365, so a perfect sweet spot if you're looking for a unique name. It means tender or delicate, Lena. And I think where it's that 2-syllable name, it's got the beautiful L at the beginning. It really feels really wearable for a baby right the way through, for a gorgeous name for a teen, and wearable when you're older as well. Peggy is also the highest it's ever been, and I'm here for it. I love Peggy. I think that's absolutely adorable. A short form of Margaret, and those sort of classic royal names sort of never go out of style, but Margaret kind of has over the last few years. So I'm so thrilled that Peggy is coming back at highest it's ever been. It went up 52 places this year. And Ember went up 105 places last year, so it's now at number 373. Ember really takes advantage of Emma or Emily being really popular, but a much more unique, really warming name, obviously meaning warmth, and brings to life this sort of colour, this sort of coral colour, I think, to me. So the name Romy is also the highest it's ever been. It's definitely one of the 23 names to watch out for in 2023. Boris Johnson used it, which might put some people off, but not many, because it's rising for both boys and for girls. It's at number 378, but it's trending really fast, and I think that's hot on the heels of Rosie, which is so high up. People are like, oh, it's sort of maybe been pinched or just too common now, and Romy is a really, really beautiful alternative. So I'm using the spelling R-O-M-Y to get the data, but it could be R-O-M-I-E as well. And it means dew of the sea, which is a really beautiful meaning. All of us love the ocean. Ocean names are always enduringly popular. Water names coming into Pisces season. I think that it would be a really, really lovely choice as well. Romy, I think to me it's really romantic. It's very good for Valentine's as well. R-O-M, Romy. What do you think of it? So the name Beau is used for both boys and girls again, spelled B-E-A-U, and it means sweetheart, and it's been trending since about 2018, but it's having this sudden spike up again for both boys and for girls. So it's kind of hot on the heels, being really trendy again. I think maybe it's because it's a one syllable. We love the meaning of it as well, and it's a really gentle name for boys, which is a huge trend at the moment, as well as being a bit gender neutral for girls. So it's at 395 for girls at the moment, and at 113 for boys. I think this will be in the top 100, which is kind of crazy because Beau was always a bit of an outsider choice and a bit of a rare one. So interesting to see what parents of Beau's think about it being so popular. Dorothy is also rising. We talked about Dottie earlier, but I did want to put both on because I'm hearing it a lot. I'm seeing it on a lot of lists, and so I had to check it out, and it was one of the fastest rising. So all of these were the fastest rising outside the top 100, and Dorothy's sneaking at the charts is at number 177 already, and I think it's just got really good. Like, we loved Delilah, we saw that really trend recently, so I can see Dorothy really rising through as well, obviously with the amazing trendy nickname of Dottie. It's got like double tick. We obviously know it from Dorothy in the Wizard of Oz, and she was a real character written after the author Frank Baum's niece died, or his wife's niece, who was called Dorothy, died, and he came up with a story about her living somewhere over the rainbow, which is kind of a tragic story, but one that all little girls would absolutely love. I only answered to Dorothy for quite a lot of my life. My mum always reminds me, and I just absolutely loved it as a name. Cora is also at its highest ever spot, so a massive one to watch out for. You might never have thought of it, Cora. It's so elegant. It's got a real special place in sort of vintage history because of Downton Abbey as well, but I don't think it sounds so vintage. I think it sounds so modern. It's at number 149 and it's rising through the charts. So Cora was also another name for Persephone, which is popular. So Persephone, who was doomed to live underground and brought spring with her. So it's a really lovely name for this time of year as well. And I think it was never go out of style. It's very timeless, very, very elegant. And one of my favourite girl crush names, my guilty pleasure names, is the name Cleo. And it's finally trending through the charts. So it has gone up 180 places in 3 years. So if it keeps on that trajectory, it's going to be really, really popular quite soon. It's still only number 138. Obviously we know it's the Egyptian queen, and queen names are all where it's at the moment, but I found a really beautiful French version of this name, which is Cleophée. So Cleo, C-L-E-O-P-H-E-E, Cleophée. Do you like that? I quite liked it. I was like, oh, somebody might really love that, which means glory. So it's kind of like got Phoebe vibes and Cleo vibes, but Cleo is where it is at if we're looking for a trending name for 2023. I think the next name is about to break through into the top 100, and it's the name Otterly, meaning wealthy. It's got a lot of chatter, a lot of people using it at the moment. So pretty, such a unique alternative to Olivia, our #1 name. It's at 118, so watch out for it being in the top 100 very, very soon. Nova as well, it's at number 101 for girls, so it's really cool to see these really trendy names breaking into the top 100. There were 7 boys named Nova as well, and it means star or new star. So it was actually coined by an astronomer who's called it the supernova, and it was a star within Cassiopeia, which is also a trendy name that I like, much more maximalist, but it's really lovely to see Nova. Those V sounds are just always so pretty, packed through the chart, so a really gorgeous one. To know that is not so daring, actually, it's getting more mainstream. And my last one, number 23 or number 1, I should have done that the other way around. 23rd name to look out for in 2023 is the name Autumn. So do you love it? It's on so many lists at the moment. It's really having its peak. It's the highest it's ever been, just outside the top 100. Of course, it is the season. And I think the seasons become popular, if that's a thing. Can seasons trend? Like, everyone's obsessed with autumn, pumpkin spice latte. The whole aesthetic of autumn is just so warming and so cozy. And we're all about hygge and being cozy at the moment. It's like the next big thing after summer. So obviously autumn was autumnus, which meant to harvest. I checked if there's anyone called Harvest, but there isn't, so maybe go with that. So I was like, harvest, the bees. I bet somebody's called Harvest. They're not. They're all called autumn, but I think it's absolutely lovely. Such a gorgeous name. And I do know many people who are called a season out of season. So I know winter's born in summer, summer's born in autumn. So don't let it put you off necessarily if you love the sound of the name. So those are my top 23 girl names to look out for in 2023. All the stats and the data crunching is very hard for me because I'm very number blind, so I had to read them. I had to keep checking my numbers. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched all the way through to here, do hit subscribe to hear the boy version of this list. And I also have my next aesthetic coming up, which is slow living, simple life themed names, and they are so good. I can't wait to record that for you. I will see you in a couple of weeks with that, and next week with the boy version of this list. And any more you would like to add to this name, I would love to hear names you think are trending that you hear all the time. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you very soon. Thanks again, guys. Bye bye.